live here.
You're live now. Okay, we are live.
Are we?
Yeah, it says live on mine.
Good afternoon, it's Nomsa here at Ngosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. It wasn't showing anything to me. And with me today, Carol Ann. Carol Ann, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Oh, thank you, Nomsa. Lovely to be here. And yes, so as the writing facilitator, what I do is I support women in becoming more productive with their writing by connecting them with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within and getting their book written, getting their story written, because you cannot publish what isn't written. And all of this has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So things have been changing over the last several years for me, which I've had to sit with and go along with.
Yes, things have been changing. So
they've been changing.
Yeah, so our topic today is change, one of our greatest challenges, and how to best deal with it. Carol Ann, you chose this topic, and I would like to. I'm sure the audience will really love to hear why you chose the topic and the passion behind it, and what do you think they're going to gain from it. Or is there any challenges you've been battling with? Challenges are always there.
Challenges, yeah. Change is our greatest challenge, because it's even now, yesterday, I was having a conversation with somebody and they were talking about things that were going to be changing for next year, or there's talks going on, and I could feel myself going, oh, I don't know if I like this. Because you get into a comfort zone, it's secure, it's just certain, you know what's happening. And then something comes along and, change. And it's like, oh, no. And you sort of try to hang on to, you've got to keep it the same, And I know that that's what kept me hanging on to my marriage for so long, all those years ago. And I still can't believe that it's 23 years ago since, and I still can't.
Sorry,
since we separated, and we were married almost 24 years. So we've been apart and divorced as long as we were almost as long as we were married. But I hung on because I couldn't see how I would cope beyond it. It's like there's a fear that holds you in its grip, because you know where you're at, and as uncomfortable as it is at times, it's like you can't seem to let go of it. It's crazy, it really is crazy. And so it is being able to welcome change, embrace change. And how can we do that is the question, Nomsa. How do you feel about change? You're muted. We would love to hear.
I know, like you getting married. How long were you guys married for? 20 years?
Almost 24 years.
24 years.
Yeah.
And going through the divorce, I know there are so many people that have gone through divorce. So I'm sure there is a club that can join you and say, Carol Ann, yes, I've gone through this, and they've gone through it as well. That big change is very, very challenging to actually. People believe that when you've been, it's like when you've been married with someone like for a very long time, sometimes it can be easy if you accept things to get out of that relationship. But I don't think there's any easy breakup. in my own opinion, I believe that every breakup is painful. So for that change, I'm sure, but I would love to hear how you were able to find the breakthrough from it through pain, because you did find that breakthrough through pain. So I love to hear if there's someone who is going through that change and they're scared and they don't know how to deal with it. You've been through it and you found that breakthrough and you were able to continue. Some people don't continue with life. When they've been married for that long, they feel that is the end. They don't continue with work. They don't continue with anything. Their life has no meaning for them anymore. But you were able to find that meaning in life. So tell us the breakthrough, Carol Ann.
Oh, breakthrough. I think it was just, I knew in my heart it was the right thing to do. And I actually had healing prayers over my marriage for us to part. And if it was meant to be the right thing, that we would, it would happen and we'd stay apart. Do you know what I mean? And my ex-husband had exactly the same. He had healing prayers over it as well. So it's as if we'd come to a point where it needed to happen. But was it any less painful? I don't know, because if I hadn't had the prayers, maybe it would have been more painful, but it was still painful. Although there was a part of me that felt, yes, this needed to happen. And I was able to sit with that, even when a few weeks later, my ex-husband came back and said, I think I've made a big mistake. I'd like to come back. And I went, no, this isn't going to work. And he said, well, I can't be on my own. I said, well, that's no reason for us to get back together again. And so he went, and I just felt that sense of, yes, I knew I'd made the right decision. Whereas in the past, when we'd had arguments and we'd made up, there was a part of me that thought, oh, I'm going to go through all this again. I knew that I hadn't really faced what we needed to face. And maybe if our communication was better, was stronger, was clearer, we were able to really talk about what mattered, maybe we wouldn't needed to have parted company. Who knows? We did. And actually, I found myself on a journey of personal development and training in other fields and other complementary fields. And that's what helped me, because I found some tools and techniques that helped me to get through the painful part, the upsetting, emotional, distraught part. You know, when there were times when I felt really upset, didn't know if I could carry on what I was doing, I would use these techniques to support me to just feel the emotions and just be able to then let them go. And one of them in particular, which I'd like to share, is something called hookups. It's a brain gym activity, and it's also part of Touch for Health as well. And all you do is you just cross your ankles, put your hands out to the front, thumbs to the floor, with the backs of your hands together, then put the palms together like this, interlink the fingers, roll under. That's it. We just still need to have our thumbs to the floor and then roll under and just let ourselves sit. And if it feels uncomfortable, just loosen the fingers and we just close our eyes. And I used to go to sleep in that position most nights because it helped me to really feel the upset and for my mind to quieten and for me to be able to then go to sleep. So then the second part to this activity is feet apart and fingertips together. So if you're sitting and doing this activity, do that. You just close your eyes and you just focus on your breathing and just feel and notice what happens. So that one, I always say that saved my life. Going to be, sorry, I've got a runny nose. My tears are coming out of the past. But yeah, just being able to go to sleep in that position really helped me. Having that tool helped me to get through. And so it's finding those sort of things, techniques that can support you and using them. Very often we learn about tools and techniques and we don't use them. That's what I find quite frustrating when I speak to people. They've learned all these tools and techniques and they don't use them. You forget about them. Use them. So that was something that supported me, and yeah, just moving in different fields, different circles of people, and yeah, going on that personal development journey of finding me. You know, okay, it's been tough. There's been other changes along the way, which we may talk about as well. But that was one of the biggest changes that really sort of shook my world. You know, because all of a sudden, what we'd been talking about and planning for the future wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem. We were always planning for the future. We were always living in the future, never
in the present moment.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's something I've really come to appreciate and learn. In the moment is where life is lived and life is happening.
Now
you can impact your future is right here in this moment. Now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Not many people understand what it means to live in the present moment. And I think if anyone that is watching, I know there's so many people who have gone through the divorce and have gone through challenges and they don't know how to deal with it because of fear. When your husband was saying, I don't think I can live on my own, it was fear because all he has ever known is you and the children. So he believed that he can't live on his own, but actually he can survive. I did mention this yesterday, that if a man tells me that, Nomsa, I cannot live without you, I'm just gonna say bugger off, because I know it's a lie. Tell me, Nomsa, I love you. I'll believe it. But if you start saying, Nomsa, I cannot live without you, I have to look back. You've left without knowing me. You were raised without knowing me. And I enter your life. We get to know each other. And things are going to go right somehow, and they are going to go wrong. We don't know the future, but what we intend to do is we intend to write goals. We focus on the future, but we forget to celebrate the present moment. And what I always tell my spouse when things are not going well and he start worried, how are we going to do this? I'm like, seriously, get a life. And he goes, Nomsa, are you being serious? I'm like, yes, I'm being serious, get a life. And sometimes you hear him when he speaks, it's like, I'm taking your advice. I'm no longer worrying about anything. I'm like, what took you so long? Because you know what, it's very, very important to enjoy the life that you have. And also to understand that for those who are in a relationship, know that things are going to go wrong along the way, or they are going to go right. There's a chance that you might die with your spouse. There is a chance that you might divorce. So along the way, things are going to go wrong. There's a chance that you might live until you're 100. there's a chance that things might go wrong health-wise. My great-grandmother died. She was 109. She lived her life. And I remember her own words. I was 7 years old, and she was saying, you know what, Nomsa, I've had enough of this living. I feel like I've lived forever. She died in her sleep, but she was ready to go. You could see when she speaks, she was ready to go. She was like, I feel I've lived forever. And that is life. The woman never worries about anything. All she did was, she was like, Nomsa, we are lucky. In Africa, everyone has a farm. We just have to pray that it rains. So when it rains, we have food, and she wouldn't worry about anything. But here, like I'm in the UK, we have everything, but you'll find people, they are worried because of the lifestyle. We are trying to live someone else's lifestyle. You know what? Me, I mind my own business. I want to live my own life. If I can't live the lifestyle that I want, I just have to pray and work more hard. But if it has not happened that moment, I'm not going to worry about it, because at the end of the day, the challenges will come, the delays will come, changes with the health will come. So why worried about what's going to happen in the future instead of enjoying the present moment? And you know, when we created that video, Ngozi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead From Within, there's a part where Kamal says there are no guarantees for tomorrow. I remember when I was like preparing, making plans, I had clients in my diary in 2020. I had everything planned. Then I woke up in the morning, in China, I have coronavirus, COVID. Then around the world, now we have to go on lockdown. And that taught me a lesson. I remember going to school, and one of the parents, they're talking, and she's like, Nomsa, you don't take this very serious. I was like, let me enjoy my present moment. If I'm gonna die, let me enjoy it today. If I'm gonna die with the coronavirus, I'm just gonna enjoy the today. I know it's killing people, and I know it's a very, very dangerous virus, but I said to her, let me have my glory. Every single day of my life to me is a glory. And how did I learn that? My grandparents. You know, my grandmother she got married to my granddad, and they divorced. My granddad remarried. My grandmother never remarried, but I remember the woman. She's dead now. The stories she used to speak about my granddad, how amazing he was, and how wonderful, and saying when you get married to somebody, you got to be a woman, you got to be this, you got to be this. So I'm thinking, woman, my grandfather left you, but you're still saying beautiful things about him. So it made me realize that actually we have to embrace life. Challenges comes, you got to face it. And also, I'm sure she had loads of challenges, because when she met my granddad, the doctors told her that she would never have children, but she believed, and she had my dad. My dad was called Witness. And I said to her, why did you call Witness? And she was like, it was me telling the world that just because the doctor is giving you the diagnosis, it does not mean it is settled. It's not. Only God can settle your story. And right now, when problems comes, Carol Ann, how I deal with them, I just have to speak. Like I'm speaking to you. I speak to the problems. Anyone might think I'm bonkers, but I speak to the problems. I have to explain to the problems that I am aware that your problems are here. But I'm going to find ways to deal with you, and you're not going to bring me down, and I'm not going to go sleep. I'm not going to go under the pillow. It's not an easy thing to do. Have a journal. Having a journal is very, very, very important in your life, to write everything, feelings that you are feeling. If I can show you my journals that I have written, honestly, sometimes I can't recognize my my thinking. I'm like, who is this woman? Honestly, when things are going tough, I don't know, Carol Ann, with you, but sometimes when I write down things, it helps me. It's like I'm communicating, I'm letting it all out, I'm not holding it inside. But then when I go back and read, I'm like, what's the heck was I thinking? What's this? Honestly. And even my daughter, she goes, Mommy, why did you write this? I'm like, don't ask me. I have no idea. But it shows that if those feelings were to stay there, not out, they can destroy you. You're muted, Carol Ann.
Yeah. To say that's the power of our mind. You know, we don't realize how strong it is and powerful, and it can destroy you if you let it. You know, just so writing it out, it just allows for it to come, have that expression, be acknowledged by writing it out, by speaking it out, by sharing it and putting it out there to the Lord, you know, and saying, this is what's so for me right now. Doesn't mean it's the truth, but it's how you're experiencing it. And Maya Angelou says, if you can't change it, change your attitude. So again, it's that mindset. How are you thinking about it? What are you thinking? Shift your thoughts, shift what it is you're saying. But by capturing it, as you said, Nomsa, when you look back at it later, you go, what? Because you're in a different mindset again. You're in a different vibration. And it's like, it doesn't make sense. What was I writing there? But that's where you were at. And it's really great to get it out and to be able to look back and say, wow, what a change. Because you then notice the difference. And that's how we learn, is by, contrast, comparing, being able to notice where we were and where we're at now. And so by writing it out, sharing it in a journal, you can go back and look at it, and it helps you to realize and then acknowledge the difference and the shifts that you've made and where you were and where you are now. And by acknowledging it, you can then give gratitude, and gratitude takes it up another level. So it's having gratitude for whatever you've been through and where you are now. But it's, I love what you said about only God can settle your story. It's true. Just because someone like a doctor or some other health professional says this can't happen, that's only in their experience and in their learning. Does it actually mean it's true? Not necessarily. It's true for them. And as you said, Nomsa, only God can settle that. And there's been many a time where people have actually proven it wrong, what has been spoken to them, and they've gone, no, I don't take that. I don't accept that. And they find a way of actually making it happen. And so it is down to you. Wayne Dyer actually says, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So change is actually important. Let go of your old thinking, welcome new thoughts, new ideas, and allow these new opportunities to come in, which can actually change the quality of your life. It allows you to let go of old things, anything that's worn out. Sometimes we hold on to something that's so comfortable and worn out. Actually, it isn't that comfortable for us, really. I've had old trainers that have felt so comfortable, but they've been so worn out. And it's not till I've got a new pair do I realize actually how bad for my feet those old trainers were, because they were so misshapen, or they would throw my feet out, my ankles out. And when I got some new ones, I realized that actually I should have got rid of those old ones sooner. And it's having that awareness when to let go. Let yourself have that change. And it's about taking the action. When you recognize that something needs to change, take action. And even if it feels it's going to be uncomfortable, maybe make a plan. How are you going to do it step by step to make that happen? Go inside, look at what it is that has you say, oh, no, can't really do this. No, no. It's like, no, never will I be able to do this. Look what my hands are doing, just say, okay, hands, thank you. Whatever's causing that, let it go. Change your body posture. Anthony Robbins always advocates that. He just says, change your body posture, because that will change your thinking. And you see how you actually start hunching up when you go into that depressed state, that state where you go, no, I can't do it. Just lift yourself up, let go. Just doing that will shift your mindset. Just looking up will shift things, because you're taking yourself out of that kinesthetic state where you're looking down, because that's where the kinesthetic, the feelings are. Looking up is visual. So you can see things, and you can't be in both. So it lifts you out of that depressed state and helps you to have a different perspective on life and on the situation. So yeah, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Mandy Hale says that. Maybe you don't belong there any longer. Maybe you've outgrown it, the space you're in. Because if we're not growing, we're dying. And we need to keep growing. We need to keep learning. We need to keep finding new things to do, because otherwise we just stagnate. And stagnation?
Yeah.
Not got a very nice smell, has it, stagnation?
Stronghold and stagnation. The stronghold. Yeah. I actually agree with you, Kiro, and we don't like change. I think we are designed, we like our familiarities, the things that we are familiar with, that's what we like, but we don't like change. And for me to be able to actually change my life, I've learned that the hard way. Anyone that sees me, watching me, like my friends, they look at me, I change things around, but they're like, Nomsa, why do you have to change things? But sometimes when you, like you were saying, Kero Ann, sometimes there are times where you look at things, you're like, I don't belong here, or this has to go. And that's how I look at my life. And sometimes the change, like you are saying, is very, very painful. Some people may see people who are changing things like myself. When I have to change, they might think it's easy. It's not easy. It's really, really not easy. And I remember when I was splitting up with my ex, and I remember we lived in Essex, and I remember I'm sitting and I'm thinking, I'm like, this has been my life. My life is beautiful, but wouldn't it be nice for me to go somewhere different, to live somewhere different? Honestly, I went online and Googled online, best schools in the United Kingdom, Hertfordshire and Henley-on-Thames, Oxfordshire came up as the top. I went to Hertfordshire, and I went to the pub, met the locals. It's a very nice place, a very nice area. When I walked in, they were like, you are not from here. Where are you from? And I was like, Essex. I'm like in Braintree. And just had a chat with the locals. And I was like, so it is a nice area. I love it. But when I came to Henley, I was like, this is my home. I'm moving here. This is my home. But then when I went, when I was making these plans, I made plans based on me. So the lifestyle that I was living there and moving to Henley-on-Thames is so expensive. really, really expensive. So I was like, and my spouse, my ex was like, Nomsa, you are living in dreams. There is no way I can afford to pay 2 homes and you guys living in Henley so expensive. I was like, don't worry. You know, I'm a child of God. I always believe that where you can live wherever you want to live. But if I want to live in Henley, there's my houses in Henley. I'll find it. And he was like, I don't think so. It's very expensive. Like, I will. Don't worry. I will. So I kept looking. I found the school for my daughter, but there was no house now. Then I came to look at the houses that were so expensive. And I was like, God, my daughter goes, you know what? I've been following you with these estate agents. Can you take me to the shop? At least I buy my lollipop, then I'll be okay. So we go to the shop and then I see the newspaper, local newspaper. Then there was a house there. It was a flat. And then I looked at the flat, it's all decorated, it's so glamorous, it's so beautiful. I looked at the price twice and I was like, this does not make sense. And I was like, this is my flat. I kissed my daughter. I was like, this is my flat. And then I rang the landlord and he was like, no, sir, I'm not available today, but come back in 2 weeks' time. Then we can talk about it. You see the flat. When I came back, Carol Ann, it was like, he just signed the document, Nomsa. It's like trusted me that I'm going to be a good tenant and I'm going to be this, he just trusted it just by looking at me and chatting with me. And I never let him down. If you look at his references, when he gave the references, it's like, Nomsa, she's my celebrity. She looks after my house. She looked after my house beautifully. And it was like that, how that flat was given to me. And now I'm saying we're moving to a flat. And my ex is like, you're moving to a flat. And it was like, okay, that is fine. And that's when he realized who I was that moment, because we are moving out from a big mansion and I'm moving to a flat. And in that flat, and I was like, I don't know what my life is going to be. But at this moment, I think me and my daughter, we're going to be very happy here for now. And then she went to school, good school, and we stayed. We were so happy. Friends, I lost friends because people got confused. Why is she living this beautiful life? This big mansion going to a small place. But if somebody doesn't know your story, that's why I always tell people when somebody's telling you something, don't say, I know your story, because you don't. For me, at that moment, there was a story behind. I was tired of life. I just quit everything. Like when you were saying changes, I quit football, I quit everything. And I was like, I'm no longer going to be working, but this flat is going to be perfect for me because I can afford it. I quit everything. And I was like, right now, I just need to find me. I've lost me. I need to find me. And for those who are listening, what Carol Annie has said, her journey, the journey that I've gone through. And that journey for me, in order for me to move forward. And I know there are some people that were going through the similar problems. Some of them, like maybe in United Kingdom, there were maybe 30 people were going through that similar problem with me, but I was one of those who find that breakthrough by wanting to change things and wanting to deal with the situation and realizing that I was messed up. I wasn't depressed or anything because I refused. Me, when I have a problem, I don't let things drag on. I just went and find a therapist. I went through 4 psychologists. I couldn't understand what they were talking about. But the last one got through my head because my head had made a decision to listen, to make changes. That's when I found the breakthrough. And also I was fasting at the same time. I decided, I was like, I'm just going to go on a hunger. 40 days I fasted. And I was like, I'm just going to fast for 40 days. And took Paul McKenna's program, and I fasted and praying. And I found myself. And I remember, when you find yourself, there's no turning back. You've gone through challenges, and I'm sure there's someone else who is watching. We have gone through challenges. When you find you can't turn back, and you can't look back with regret. There is this relief of, oh my goodness. And there was this thing of welcoming Nomsa, the Nomsa that was always there, just ignoring it, and became a follower. God knows what I was doing.
Yeah,
I'm sure you relate to my story, Carol, and God
absolutely.
knows what Nomsa was doing.
The Lord knows, and definitely in guides. And I hear that you decided to actually listen and make changes. And I think
Yeah.
that was key, because you can be asking and asking and asking, but if you're not listening
Yeah.
and listening to what's coming to you, and then deciding to make changes, it's not going to happen, or actually the universe has a way of giving you the biggest wake up ever and saying, well, if you're not going to listen, here, take this, and it forces the issue. And then people wonder, oh God, what's happened here? Why, why has this happened? Well, you haven't been listening. And so certainly, need to listen very carefully. Does it mean that you have to take every piece of advice on board that you hear? No, absolutely. But if you don't listen, you won't find the one piece of advice that actually really resonates with you and that you're open to. Because when you're open and you're listening, you'll find that something will resonate with you in your heart. And then you'll know, you go, there's a spark happens, and you go, that's what I need to do. Doesn't mean that you have to dive around and go, I've got to do that. If you choose to do that, that's fine. Because sometimes people do it because they say, let me have a go at that. Let me have a go at that. If it doesn't work, don't make it wrong. Because if it hasn't worked, all it is feedback. It's like, okay, I listened to that piece of advice. I tried that, didn't work. What else can I have a go at? What else can I listen to? And if that's the way you want to go about it, then that's fine. Because that's your way. Don't make it wrong. But also don't make wrong the advice that you took or you listened to, tried it and it didn't work for you. Just because it didn't work for you doesn't mean it's wrong advice.
No.
You attempted it, you tried it for yourself, and you learned something. You just learned, okay, it's not for me. That's the important thing, is recognizing it's not for you and move on. Change your thinking, find something else. But be open to actually sitting and reflecting and going, well, actually, what is the right advice for me? What is going to work for me? And feel it in your heart, in your whole being. And once you can be in touch with your whole being and your heart, you start finding that you start acting on advice and suggestions, and they start working. It works for you. It's like, oh, that works. Oh, that works. Because you're taking note of your own body, your own being that is guiding you. That's the most important thing. And we do lose ourselves. And I think that is something that is fundamental to needing to change, is that we're so comfortable in a life that we're in, or we've set out, or I say comfortable, we're used to it, but we can just lose ourselves. And you get to a point where it's like, what is this life about? You can get very tired of it. And so it means that something needs to change. If you're tired of life, if you feel like, what is it all about? Then you stagnated. So ask the question, what needs to change? What do I need to let go of that will help me move forward? What's something new that I can learn? Go and find something new to learn. Oh, just because we leave school, at whatever age you leave school, or, academic education, doesn't mean that you stopped learning. That's just the beginning. Life is one big education opportunity. That's school, is life. That's where we need to really put our skills together to learn how to live the game of life. And I call it the game of life because I love games. And there's no rules. You say, well, what are the rules? Nobody tells you the rules. It's like you have to find them out somehow. But, you learn to play it, but it does change. The rules change with life somehow. And so again, it's going to be uncomfortable with, well, no, you said it was supposed to be this way. Well, actually, it's changed. And it's like with, as you say, with lockdown, everything changed. Had to start working from home, had to start finding another way of earning money, maybe because you had lost the job that you had. But your job changed. You had to find a way of delivering the job that you were doing and doing it. And so I think that those 2 years we had lockdown were a really crucial time for us to really get into, well, change. Things need to change. It was a big wake-up call, but it was also an opportunity to go inside and look at ourselves and reflect. And just take time for ourselves to go in. And I think people that didn't take time through that period are now in burnout and are going, oh, they're exhausted. But that's okay, it's their journey and they kept things going. But now it's time for them to reflect. What's happening? What is important for me? What do I need to change? And so, what is it? Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is letting go. That's what Herman Hesse says. Letting go. So what do you need to let go of? And there's things I need to let go of. When I ran my writing retreat, a 5-day in-person writing retreat the other week. So 2 weeks ago now it finished. It's like, where's that time gone to? But that took a few years for it to actually happen. 5 times I had to change the date, and once I had to change the venue. To the last date I had to change the venue because the venue I had booked, for them everything changed and they had to sell their place, and so they had to cancel my booking. So I had to change the venue, but it made me sit and think, well, do I really want to do this? And in the end, it was like, I had to make that decision. Yes. And go for it and make it happen. And once the retreat had run and I had people on there, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing experience. Afterwards, I'm sort of going, I just felt in the space of, whoa, what just happened then? And it took me a week to really get myself gathered again and recuperate and come back to sort of earth and go, oh yeah. But now it's, well, right, what's next? What else has been niggling at me that I think I can't do, that I've been putting off for years, that I now need to focus on? Make some changes, So Yeah, it's about reframing your thinking. Definitely reframe your thinking. The problem is one of our 6 human needs is certainty. And change doesn't give us certainty. But the one thing you can be certain of, that the only constant is change. So there's always going to be change. It's just being able to ride with it. How can we do that, Nomsa? How can we best deal with change, do you think?
I think dealing with change, the best thing you can ever do in your life is to live in the present moment and accept what it is in that moment and moving forward and being grateful of the life that you have. Because to be where you are now, there's some amazing things that you might have done. There's some challenges that you've pulled through. And when you are going through those challenges, know that you are not alone. We always think we are alone when we are going through something. We want, like when you're saying, we want certainty that things are going to work out fine, things are going to be okay. There is no breakthrough without a challenge. I got promoted by Facebook on my profile. They changed my profile to a professional content creator. While I'm busy celebrating, someone reports me on Facebook. Yeah, someone reports me on Facebook. Apparently, I tagged something with a post that is not appropriate. So I was like, I don't really post anything on Facebook apart from doing live or posting my pictures or with my children. So I was like, to Facebook, I don't know what I've done, but I understand that at the same time I had to understand where there is change, there's gonna be something, a challenge that is gonna come and cause a distraction. So I looked at myself and I was like, Facebook have been promoting me on my business page, on my profiles. They've been doing things and recognizing my profile, and now somebody is reporting me. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to pray about it. Facebook, they always punish me anyway. So I was like, I'm just gonna write and say, I haven't got a clue, because I didn't know what this person, I don't post appropriate things. For me, what I post on Facebook, I post something like personal development messages, or it's either my pictures. I never take pictures naked. Like you see now, this is who I am. And what's going on with my dress? My dress is stuck. So when I take pictures, I always take pictures like normal pictures. I don't know what is normal anyway, what is not. So, and then I was like, okay, I had to look at the things. I was like, they're promoting me now with my profile because they changed my profile. So it asked me to accept it. So I accepted it. So now my profile, it's not like, because the limit is 5,000. So I can have millions people following me on my profile. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah. So they did that. They changed my profile, and then I accept it. And then now somebody comes in, and then I woke up in the morning, security alert, and I was like, what now, Facebook? So I think I must have tagged someone with Desmond O'Connor's the speaker contest. So I think they didn't like it. But instead of removing the tag, for me, it's like every person that I follow, if they tag me with something, I know they need my help. And that's the reason why I accept to follow people, to help them out, and then they help me out, or sometimes they're not going to help me out. So, and then I was like, yeah, some people don't like to be tagged. So that's why I had to put a message on my profile that, please don't report me on Facebook. Let me know if I don't want me to tag you. Let me know. Because with the Facebook, when someone report you, there are no other option. The only options that you do is either appropriate, or they don't give you the reason why you can explain, maybe to say, I don't want them tagging me. You don't have those options. So those are the challenges that I'm facing with Facebook at the moment. Somebody reported me that, and then I had to, and they're like, if you don't reply within 48 hours, we will take that as whatever, they're gonna punish me, whatever. So I replied, but they always ban me with something. So I'm expecting. Honestly, if I comment a lot or people's pictures, or like sometimes I get time or 10 minutes to comment, I get a message saying, I've used too much Facebook, and then I can't use it for 1 month. So that's what they do. So now when I'm commenting people's profile, I have to be careful per day how many, and I'm not always on social media. So I don't know how this Facebook works. But that's the challenge that I'm facing. So I was like, being a content creator means I'm just going to keep facing problems and keep getting poked by Facebook. But that's part of it. So that's the challenge that I'm facing at the moment. But does it stop me doing the things that I want to do? It doesn't stop me. Life is full of challenges. And if anyone that is watching and you want to do something and you want that certainty, you want to know the results, what's going to be the results, I'm afraid life is not like that. There were the things that I've done in my life and thinking that they're gonna go wrong, but they've gone right. There are things that fear sometimes can stop us doing things that we want to do. And it turns out that you are never alone. And whenever you're going through a challenge, you have to know you are not alone. And those who don't believe in God, don't believe in anything, or believe in the universe, me, I believe in God. And I know that whenever I'm going through challenges, I'm not alone. And I find that when I actually make my voice heard, like to say, God, this is what is happening. Can there be some changes in my life? He does change things because he listens. When Nomsa prays, Nomsa does not make demand. Nomsa has to beg for mercy, because I have to look at, maybe there are some things that I've done wrong that have making my life be where they are, and I have to ask for forgiveness. Because there are things that we always do wrong sometimes. So I ask God to forgive me. And once I ask for that forgiveness, and then I have to actually acknowledge that God has accepted my forgiveness, and now I can move forward and live the life that I want with his help. He will never let me down. That's what you need to know. And in doing that, family members, look at family members that you trust. Speak to them about your problem. Look at a friend that you trust. I don't have many friends. Myself, for me, the person that I call a friend is somebody I can open up and talk to them about anything. So I don't have many friends. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 friends that I trust. I don't have many. And those people, they're like my family to me. So I don't have many, because there's no point in collecting people for no reason, because people will let you down. Not everyone that enters your life, they're there to help you. People are there for some reasons. So for me, I speak to those that I know even if people laugh at you, some people worry that, okay, this is what I'm going through. Like you mentioned the job, Carol Ann, that when you lose your job, the next thing that people start worrying is, what would people think if my lifestyle changes? Like I had this glamorized lifestyle, now it is no longer there anymore. Don't worry about people. If you want to ask for my experience, 99% of people don't notice what you do unless you tell them. They don't. And they don't even care. It's like, Carol Ann, you get on stage and you tell people about your situation, your problems. They're like, you know what, Carol Ann, I don't care. Tell me how I can get out of it. Yes. I don't care, Carol Ann, what you've been through, but right now I'm going through this. I want to know the breakthrough I meant.
Yep. That's right.
So if you are a speaker and you are a business person, the clients don't care about your problems. They want to know whether you can get them out of the pain that they are going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is it. And actually sharing your story helps them to realize that, okay, you've been there, but they don't need to hear. It's like, okay, I hear you've been there, but yeah, how are you going to help me? This is my story. This is what's going on for me. It's a bit like yours, but it's not the same. But can you help me? And absolutely, they very much want to know, how can you help them? And so really, this is what this talk show is about.
Yeah.
We talk about things that, okay, we've been through, but also there's little bits of tips. How can you support yourself? And one of them is actually reaching out. If you find that you can't do it for yourself, or that you're really stuck, reach out, because we're here. And, if we can support you in some way with it, there's a whole group of us, and NOMSA can actually then support you with the right person, put you in touch with the right one. Or you may have seen one of us speakers and you feel connected. Reach out, ask for a conversation. You don't need to do this alone. And that was one of my biggest lessons. I remember having this vision that I realized I was an island, and that actually I'm not. But that's how I saw it. I was on my own, and it's taken me years to really feel different about that. Even though I many years ago I got that message, I'm not on my own. It has taken me till just the last few years to realize the truth of that, because I would still go into that, I'm on my own, nobody cares, and a real deep depression there, and feel really sorry for myself for a few days. Whereas now I can touch into that and go, no, because I now know it's not true. I know my mind has now accepted I have got people that are there for me. And if you ring one person and they're not available, doesn't mean that everyone else isn't available, because that's the game we tend to play. Oh, they're not available for me. I rang this person, they weren't there. Well, who else did you ring? Who else did you contact? And it's also recognizing who could be there for you. Because sometimes when we're there for people, it doesn't mean that they can reciprocate, because they might not be in a place to be able to. And it may be somebody else that you need to reach out to, who can give you that support, that listening ear that you require. So, reach out and keep reaching out, and realize that actually you are not alone. You're very much connected, and you'd be surprised at how many people are there for you. And I know when I started reaching out about my writing retreat and sharing it with people, I finally dared to sort of put it out there and message people, that I got so many responses, and realized, oh, wow, everybody's there. They're saying, yeah, we want to support you. And I don't mind sharing. And I was like, wow, I got it, in a much deeper, stronger way than I've ever got it. So you need to let yourself receive. And that, I think, is the biggest change for a lot of people to make, is receiving. Keep asking, but then stop and allow yourself to receive. But the other thing with change, I think this is something I'd just like to leave our readers with, is the realization that because there's change, there's going to be some loss. So it's recognizing that there'll be some mourning or some grief to work through. And it's just something I read this morning, and I was thinking, oh, I hadn't actually looked at it in those terms, because we don't actually realize or think about that. We just think, oh, I'm going to lose that. But the grief, the emotion that's there. So let yourself process it as grief. Recognize what you're going to lose. Again, journal it, write it down, create a scrapbook about it, write a poem, do something that actually allows you to take time to mark and mourn what you're going to be losing, to actually acknowledge it. Well, this is what's going to be gone. This isn't going to be here. This is what I'm going to lose. And allow that grief to be processed so that you can then let it go and move on and start focusing on, well, what actually is coming in. Because when something has gone, it leaves space for something new to enter. And that's what the change is. So you can then focus on, okay, what is new? What is coming in? What can I welcome? And what can I embrace that is now coming into my life? So how do you view change? After this conversation, I feel a bit more excited about it, I think now. What about you, Nomsa?
Thank you so much, Carol Ann. For me, is like you said before, Carol Ann, that change your thinking. I think that's very, very important to, when you're going through something, to let your mindset shift and think big. Because when you think small and when you think about your life, you don't have regrets, what could have been, what has not been happening. Just have that positive mindset and the mindset of not giving up of life, because problems will always be there. It doesn't matter. People, they read about these billionaires, how they made their money. They were able to work on their mindset. Mind is the tool. This thing is the symbol of your destiny. The brain, the whole thing is the symbol of your destiny. And there are parts that you have to understand your body as well, how the body works. Body parts, what connects with the brain, what connects with this. So try to learn to heal yourself. Self-healing as well is very, very, very important. And exercises, self-healing. When I'm talking about self-healing, Carol Anna was showing the exercises from the beginning. Do some exercises. If you are somebody who believes in God, make it, pray, fast. When you fast, you activate your spirit man within inside. That winning spirit, you need the winning spirit to fight with you. When you lose that winning spirit, that means you are a walking zombie. So you need to keep activating your body. Even if you don't believe in God, He's always there, by the way. So just keep positivity, mindset, work on your mindset, and know that you are not alone. There are some people who always say, there's no one there. Wherever you go, there's always going to be a friend who is a champion. There's always going to be a family member who is going to believe in you and who is going to actually be there for you. Find that one person. You don't need 20 or 30. 30 is confusing. One person. You don't need people to understand what you're going through, because people will never understand it. Only you can feel that pain, and only you can find that breakthrough. There's so many times where I faced challenges in my life, and facing those challenges, and the only person that was, even though I had support, the only person that allows me to go forward is me with God, by trusting, having faith, having a mindset of not giving up, having a fighting spirit. You have to be somebody that is a fighter within your inner being. You have to be somebody not allowing the defeat inside to defeat you, because problems will defeat you. So have that mindset of, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to find a solution. And if you don't feel like it, please take a break. Even one day doing nothing, take a break, do nothing. We don't have to be like achieving. Take a break, do nothing for one day, even if it means lying on the sofa. Lie down, but don't stay there too long. Don't stay there too long. For me, what keeps me going is the prayer. I pray and I pray and I pray when things are going wrong. If I have to fast for 50 days, 90 days, I will do it. 70 days, I will do it. 2 days, I will do it. It depends with what's going on in my life. Every problem is unique. So whatever you do in life, Carol Ann mentioned the plan. Whatever you do in life, have a plan and know that your problems are unique and you can solve them. There's nothing that is permanent. Temporal, everything, problem are temporal. So that is me. We are here at Nkosi Talk Shows. I think Carol Ann just said, if you need help, you know where we are. And the NOMSA is still will appreciate, and all these coaches at Nkosi Talk Shows will appreciate you guys. If you head over to Nkosi Talk Shows page, you can make a comment, either normal comment or give us some stars so we can reach more people within the community with Nkosi Talk Shows, at Nkosi Talk Shows. And if you are Nkosi Talk Shows family, you go and watch us on YouTube. Please remember to subscribe. And when you subscribe, be our family, and we would like to hear from you. Send us messages when you are going through something. Actually, we were talking about, no, you're not alone. Yes, you're not alone because of Nkosi Talk Shows. You can message us. If you're going through something, message us. We'll always reply to any messages from everyone. So email us or message us, and let's help each other out. God bless. Live with grace. Have a beautiful weekend.